Welcome, it's Zurika from Living an Amazing Life. In today's episode, we cover the new law of productivity so that every single day you can operate like $1 billion company. In the next 20 minutes, I aim to break down the ethical hacks used in the book Deep Work by Cal Newport. High performers have used these hacks in their own life, career, and business, and I hope you can use these hacks in your own life. Now, every episode on Living an Amazing Life aims at breaking down ethical hacks used by world-class billionaires, entrepreneurs, scientists, doctors, Olympic athletes to reach their highest performance. The hacks we cover are practical micro lessons distilled in 20 to 30 minutes so that you can copy and put this in place for your own life. Well, we live in a world of distractions, whether you like it or not. In the book Deep Work by Cal Newport, he mentions that every professional has only two types of methods that they use to deliver results. The first type of work is what the author calls shallow work. This kind of work does not need a lot of concentration. You could be answering emails, texting, answering phone calls, updating a spreadsheet. It appears as someone being busy, yet you don't produce much. The second type of work the author calls deep work. This kind of work requires to focus on a desired outcome for 4+ hours. This focus is needed so that you can be completely free without any distractions. Now listen to this with attention. An addiction to constant distraction will be the death of your career, your finances, and your health. Whether you like it or not, it will happen. Deep work is the superpower of the 21st century, and only a few have this capability. If you look around, you will see people are distracted. They walk with their phones with them glued to the phone, drive while texting, aimlessly being on social media. Most people are spending their most productive time watching funny videos on YouTube or checking their Instagram feed or watching Netflix. Yet, if you look at many of the A players, their work ethic and the way they live their life is so different. If you want to achieve the results of what billionaires produce, then you must model their personality and their work ethics. So in this episode, I want to walk you through the hacks that Cal Newport has defined so that it helps us to be able to improve our productivity. Bill Gates used this strategy in 1974 to program the first version of BASIC in 8 weeks. He would focus with no distractions for long periods of time. He spent 2 months of deep work, which became the foundation of Microsoft, now a billion-dollar company. Gates calls this method think weeks. He does nothing apart from reading and thinking big during these weeks. Another example is the author J.K. Rowling, who wrote the Harry Potter series. She used the same method of deep work where she completed her final book of Harry Potter. She recognized that she needed to escape the distractions of noise, children running around, constant phone calls, family visits, etc. So what did she do? She checked herself into a hotel and focused on writing to get the book completed. This is deep work, where you focus for long periods of time at a stretch. Now, as working professionals with a busy life, we may not have the luxury to adopt the strategy that Bill Gates or J.K. Rowling's implemented. We may not be able to go off the grid for long, extended periods of time. Author Cal Newport does mention that we can still find ways to do deep work and produce lasting results. So how does deep work actually work? From a scientific perspective, it has been found that intense periods of focus in a single tasking manner causes the brain to produce something called myelin, an insulating layer that forms around nerves in the brain and spinal cord. This myelin layer allows brain cells to fire faster and cleaner. What does this mean? This means when you practice deep work, which is to focus for longer periods of time with no distractions, we are helping our brain to upgrade so that specific brain circuits fire cleaner and faster. Now, if you are looking for a breakthrough in your career, business, financial life, it is so important to use the deep work method. This method is valuable because when you produce something that is world class, you automatically see results faster rather than try to produce the same work by being distracted. Deep work is becoming valuable and very hard to practice. Look around and see, how often do you check your emails? How often are you watching a movie and at the same time texting on WhatsApp or Messenger? How often are you working in the office and yet listening to something on your headphones? Everyone working in an open office is distracted. At work, unfortunately, the more busy you are, the more it's perceived as productive. But deep work is what stretches your mind and gives you meaning for your life. So how do you implement deep work in your daily life to be a high performer in all areas of your life? Before we dive into the how-tos, first we need to understand the different forms of deep work strategies that are available. Hack 1. The monastic philosophy of deep work. This form of deep work is the most dedicated form of deep work and involves spending all of your working hours on a single high-level focus. This is similar to what Bill Gates implemented. While this hack has the highest potential, it could be unrealistic if you're self-employed or aiming to start a business while working full-time or a full-time employee. Hack 2. The biomodal philosophy of deep work. Now, this form of deep work allows for a high amount of deep work while balancing other activities in your life that you find important. To master this hack, you must adopt the philosophy of flexibility, where you can arrange your calendar for a year, for a month, for a week, and for a day as you see fit into larger chunks of deep work. Personally, I use this hack for my own life. Hack 3. The rhythmic philosophy of deep work. This form of deep work is ideal for professionals who have a static schedule. This could be ideal if you know what most of your day would look like, so that you can block chunks of the day for deep work while leaving the rest of the hours for shallow work. Hack 4. The journalistic philosophy of deep work. This form of deep work is ideal for professionals who are constantly on the move with no way to know what could be demanded of them during the day. This could be if you're a software engineer, a doctor, a sales professional. To adopt this hack, you must be disciplined and find 30 minutes to an hour for deep work. Once you know which hack would be the hack that you can use in your life, then here are the 6 steps that you can use to achieve deep work in your life. Step 1. You need to make a decision to implement smart rituals in your daily life. Instead of scheduling when you would work, instead flip that around and schedule in your calendar the distraction times first. This means you schedule all notifications to be received on your phone at a certain period of time. Now, there are many apps online that help you to do this. I use an app called Daywise. Schedule a time slot multiple times in a day where you can check your emails and respond to emails at dedicated periods of time rather than randomly checking emails and emailing people as and when you receive this. Schedule when to meet for chit-chat sessions with work colleagues at specific times. At first, this way of working and holding focus is going to be hard. But if you do this, you are effectively building your brain cells to develop a new way of focus for longer periods of time. The step 2, author Cal Newport suggests that once you have a ritual for shallow work, then you must ruthlessly schedule deep work intervals daily, each day of the week. The goal here is to generate a rhythm for this week. Schedule this in advance, which will help you to follow a routine. Carl mentions that scheduling deep work in an ad hoc manner does not help in any way. It has to be consistent. So if you're not used to long periods of focus, then you must train your mind with this new habit. This means scheduling a recurring time each day for deep work. Personally, for me, this is an early morning ritual, but my best friend, on the other hand, can focus later in the night when everyone is off to bed. Some of my friends can focus well in the afternoons after lunch. So you pick the time that you can feel at your peak and make this time your deep work slot with no distractions. Research shows that when people are aiming to get into the rhythm of deep work, especially newbies, can only hold their focus for 1 hour. And those who practice deep work can hold their focus and concentration for about 4 hours. So to be effective, plant deep work rituals throughout the day in 60 to 90-minute intervals at the same time each day. The goal is to have 4 hours of deep work each day. Step 3. Once you know your deep work slots, make sure you have a dedicated place that you go for this period of time. You must end the time of your deep work routine and not keep it open-ended, even if you get into the zone. This is about training the mind to have intense focus and produce quality work, not about quantity. The place you choose could be a quiet room, it could even be a meeting room, a library, etc. Step 4. The next step is the how. You need to have clear, measured goals. Have a list of the most important tasks that you need to address or work on during your deep work moments. Measure your success by measuring how many pages you plan to have read, or how many bugs you need to have fixed, or how many pages you need to have to write, etc. You get the idea, right? Now, an example in my work, I dedicate 1 hour for each episode of this podcast. So I block that hour to write and figure out what I would be speaking in the podcast. Then I take a break, and the next deep work routine would be social media post content that I would have to organize for the specific podcast content that I've completed. The next deep work routine could be recording my podcast and the design work required for the podcast. You get the feel of what is required. You need to break this down into chunks of deep work sessions. Step 5. Organize to support your mind and body during these sessions. This could be having a coffee before you start, or having access to a bowl of nuts or snacks that you can keep so that you can keep going. Organize to have healthy foods rather than carb-loaded, and be on a sugar-free diet. Organize your music that would drive you to focus, etc. Step 6. Sleep is the main ingredient for deep work. It is the interest that you pay your mind and body for the loans we borrow from the brain for intense focus. To be effective, Carl mentions having an evening shutdown ritual. This involves having a plan in place in the evening where you know what tasks you have to address the following day. You do not want to keep this in memory. You want this to be written or typed in your task list. Once this is done, then you give yourself permission to shut down for the day. The key to note is the following. Many performers do not respect this one step of resting and they keep going. Each day it feels like it's okay, but in reality you delay your success. Rest is something everyone does, but mastering the skill of rest can transform your life. Now, why do I emphasize on resting to be an important component of deep work? As you give permission to the conscious mind to rest, the unconscious mind takes over and provides ideas and consolidates these memories so that when you wake up, you have ideas to work on. Trust me, it really works. So rest helps you to recharge. Now, if you've enjoyed today's episode, then here is what I want you to do. First step, for the next 90 days, spend the first 90 minutes of your day on your single most important project that will help you move your life forward. Step 2, watch your environment and pick your environment. What I mean here is total silence, clean place, walk away from places that are toxic, switch off your mobile, your notifications. It's pure focus during deep work. Step 3, choose the people you hang out with during this transition. Hang out with people who are high performers. Now, if you cannot be with high performers, then reach out to high performers through their books, their talks, where you have a virtual friend who is a high performer and spend time with this person throughout your day. Here's the science behind it. In our brain, we have something called the mirror neuron system, which is a group of specialized neurons that mirrors the actions and behaviors of others. This system dates back to thousands of years where we mirrored the behaviors of our tribe. We modeled the behaviors of the dominant people in the tribe. Fast forward to today, we subconsciously model the behavior of our friends, family, workmates, if we are constantly with them. If you are around people who are victims, you will subconsciously start settling for less like a victim. If you're around manipulators, subconsciously you too will start being manipulative. If you're around a toxic environment where there are lots of politics being played, especially in the office place, subconsciously you will start adapting to this behavior. So while being on the path of deep work, it's vital you protect your mind, body, and soul. Step 4, adopt learned minimalism. Most people think minimalism is living frugal or a lot of white space. This is not the reality. What I'm hoping to convey here is adopt the mindset of learn minimalism to be ultra productive. Billionaires and high performers have mastered simplicity. They know that being a genius is not about making things complex. Look at all the successful icons in the world. They do not fill their day with a lot of things. They fill their day with a few focused things. Step 5. If you feel my team and I can help you, then here are 3 ways we could achieve this. If you're thinking of starting or growing your own software idea, then we have created a special gift for you. Yes, it's free. All you need to do is visit livinganamazinglife.com and click on resources. You will see that gift there. If you're looking for a software development job in New Zealand as a software engineer, then connect with my team at straightup.net.nz. We can help you redefine how you market your skills. And finally, if you're wanting to launch your own business, but probably you don't have an idea of what this business should be, then go to Living an Amazing Life, and we have a framework called Earn. You'll be able to see this in the resource section. I hope you have enjoyed this episode and you hack your way to create your own deep work routine. Design the life that you want. Ciao for now, and let's live an amazing life. Thank you.